Hello, all. Welcome back to Melanin Madam. Before we start, don't forget to subscribe and share this video. Tonight we have two guests with us, so I'll allow everybody to introduce themselves and then we'll get into the hot topic.
Ladies first with gentlemen over here. So ladies first, come on.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Pierre Martin.
Oh, he's muted. You're muted.
Oh, Ron, we can't hear you.
Oh, what's going on, y'all? Sorry, my bad. I was
Perfect.
muted. Y'all already know the name. We back again for another beautiful Thursday evening. What's good? What's good? Make sure y'all don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and share. All right, we need that support. All right.
All right, this is Jojo Habanero, IT PM during the day, intellectual pervert by night. Check out JA Cigars Baseball for all your cigar needs. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let's go.
Yo.
Perfect. And when she's done Barbieing herself.
She already introduced herself.
She introduced herself?
Okay. Yes, we said ladies first.
I did not. The co-host should have gone first. Okay. Well, I was disconnected for a minute. So either way. Okay,
That's
Dr.
right.
P, let's see. So for tonight's hot topic, let me tell you, we need to have a hot topic before we get into the topic, because here's what I'm not going to do. I felt gracious today. I'm not going to set y'all up to look a damn fool. So let me tell you, I'm just saying, because this topic, we discussing the things that husbands will tell the mistress, but they will not tell the wife. Now, all of them are good reasons. So anything could be a good reason why something happens. But just because it's a good reason, does it give you an excuse to do what you did? Because you could have took another route. I'm just saying. But these are good things to bring up in a marriage or relationship. So before we get started, what I'm going to do is play the pick me comment first of this particular interview, because there's been a little bit of question around the pick me shit and people don't understand it. So let's break it down. So that's the hot topic first, is the pick me. All of this is from the same interview. Okay. So I'm going to play things backwards. And as normal, I will share the link to the actual video after we are done. So here we go.
Like you said, he's whispering because his wife be tripping. Yeah. And that's why a lot of women don't even realize that they drive their men to cheating. They don't even realize that. Like the nagging and and it's like, I just want to go to the strip club. I just want to get away. Now you go to the strip club and it's a nice, beautiful young dime in the body. And, we're talking, we're drinking and we're having fun. Mm-hmm. And he's just like, damn, I miss this. Like, I just want to have fun. You get what I'm saying? So now he start hanging out with me. And we going out. I'm not tripping on nothing. I know he got a wife. We cool. And he's loving the funness, the peaceness, the happiness of it. Because at the end of the day, I feel like everybody's purpose on this earth is just to really be happy. I feel like that's really true key to life. And if this person, regardless of their occupation or whatever, is making me happy, and then I go home and I'm getting yelled at and screamed at, and it's just, I'm not happy here. So you're making me go over here, and possibly you're going to make me leave you because I don't want to deal with that. Mind you, as a Black man in America, it's already hard as hell for Black men, just period.
Now, they're going to call you a pick me, but I get what you're saying.
Or your life, or the police, and we got to go deal with all this in real life. I want to come home and I want my wife to just be like, babe, how was your day? How's everything going? I don't want her to come out, oh, you say you're going to be here at 4, and why you here at 6? What the fuck? Where you was at? Like, bitch.
See, there's truth in everything.
So keeping your comments under 2 minutes, because this is just a hot topic and we have a lot of people, so we have to move swiftly. Who wants to go first with under the umbrella of pick me? Why a woman or a man might look at her and say, pick me. And then I have a question. Do you want to know her occupation?
Okay. The video I saw, but I didn't have no sound, so I don't know what she said.
She said that Tasha started out with saying that men or women can't always be open. And so, if they have to talk about the different things that they have done, they won't. They'll go talk to the mistress or the side person. And then the other lady said, it's because they want to have fun. So the wife will be nagging. He'll leave because I just want to go to the strip club. So he'll go to the strip club with her. She's a stripper. And have fun. And this is what I missed. Oh, it's so much fun. And then he starts hanging out with her more because it's fun. And this is what I missed about life. Everybody should just have fun. Who wants to have a wife that's nagging? And I think that's it. I think that's what she said. All of it.
Okay. So the question is she a pick-me? Do I look at her as a pick-me?
Or why somebody might look, because Tasha K pointed out that somebody's probably going to call her, they're going to call her, meaning us, a pick-me. So why would somebody think that that's being a pick-me?
I mean, because she's, I guess, trying to rationalize the fact or the idea of the husband, hanging out with somebody like her, and trying to make it make sense. And in reality, you probably should not try to make that make sense. I mean, you got to realize a marriage is a lifelong thing. So a lot of people, you got to really, really, really ask yourself, do you really want to do this? Look yourself in the mirror before you get married. And do you really want to do this? You got to know who you're marrying. You know what I'm saying? You got to know what you're getting into. Now, if you have a wife that's a little laid back and conservative, don't really like doing shit like that, you can't expect her to all of a sudden start doing shit like that just because you're married to her. She does not like that type of shit. So marry somebody that like to go to strip clubs or don't mind you going to strip clubs or don't mind you hanging out with the stripper at a strip club. Yeah, so I think that's why I'm looking at the clock, making sure I don't go over the 2 minutes. But I think that that's why people would call her that for sure, because you're trying to rationalize something that shouldn't be rationalized.
She is under 30. She is a stripper, and she has slept with over 3,000 men. Who wants to go next?
Oh no.
I asked if you want to know her occupation and what she did.
Oh shit.
I'll take that one.
Okay.
So, pick me in those kinds of conversations is supposed to be a derogatory term, an expression meaning any woman that has an opinion that is in favor of men or men's psychology, or whether it's right or wrong. I don't know. We're not here to debate it, but whether it's right or wrong, someone that has the expression I think someone told me once was someone who kicks up for the men. I don't know what that means, but someone who is of opinion that favors men's opinions and things of that nature. I will preface my comment by saying two things. I am not saying that cheating is okay. I'm not saying that at all. Cheating is not okay. Second thing I would like to mention is I think sometimes a lot of people forget that the mistress outside is simply not dealing with the same level of stress that the woman at home is dealing with. So we definitely have to be able to understand that and put that in this proper perspective before we try to have the conversation. Now, that being said, in those issues at home, the people involved have choices on how they want to deal with it. And I think her point was for the people who choose to handle situations that are not pro fixing the problem in a wholesome way, obviously among all the choices that men have to deal with the problem, I know because I did that too. Choosing to go elsewhere seems to be was simple, was easy, and that's my 2 minutes.
Okay. Dr. P?
So yeah, I think what she basically was saying, I think sometimes people read too deep into everything, right? She was just giving her opinion based off of her experiences and what men have shared with her. They literally say, like, oh, I'm here. Like, you don't know what their conversations are. Usually the conversation is, I don't know, it probably comes up, are you single? Are you this and that? Or I like you. Or maybe they try to get with her afterwards after her occupation of stripping. And as they're talking, she starts to discover their relationships, monogamous or married or whatever. And if she's like, well, then what are you doing here? It's whatever coming out of their mouth. So, of course, her perception of everything is going to be in favor because she's listening to what the person said to her. And why would she want to think about what the other person said? They're not in her face. If a woman was in her face saying, this is why I'm here because my man is over here doing this, would we have the same conversation? No, we wouldn't. We actually would be in favor because we'd be like, well, it doesn't mean she's gay or it doesn't mean she's bi, like maybe, women are just having fun and it'll go into a whole nother cultural gender situation. So, I don't, if the term pick me is based off of the psychology of, women in favor of whatever the behavior is from the male's perspective, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I would just say it's as simple as a conversation. You know what I mean? If a man approached me and, he's like, oh, I'm married. I'm like, why are you talking to me then? And he tells me why. Maybe I just gave him the benefit of the doubt of the conversation. At the end of the day, she didn't force him to do anything.
Okay. So for mine, she's absolutely a pick me. But what is she supposed to do? What is she selling? A fantasy. Where is he? The strip club. So that's the perfect definition of a pick me. But why, to your point, why would she tell him to go anywhere else? If I'm contributing to what you're saying, I'm driving you to come to me. Here's the problem where women and men, because I think women call it a pick me, men call it like Sierra's husband, a simp or something. Here's the problem. Now you're on a platform and you're not in a strip club. You're taking that information from the strip club, only what the man has said, and now you're bringing it out and telling women this is how they should act. So you are being a pick me. You're not a wife. You slept with 3,000 men. You have no connection with men, and then you're assuming that the woman is nagging, but you've never been in a relationship. You don't even know what relationships are like. And you just said, well, why wouldn't he want to be here and have fun with me? Well, why wouldn't women love to be out shopping all day? So that's just why it's a pick me, because it is. You're making a biased statement on a platform that is not about that. You're not even talking about marriage. And here's where the problem comes in. It changes a little bit later. So let me show you.
You don't have to hide yourself in order to be in a relationship. And I feel that men and women tend to show only one side of themselves, but then they have this whole other side and they expect another person to conform to that. And I feel that, when men come to hoes, they come for that freedom.
Yeah.
They'll tell you about all their sex partners and, maybe they do have a mistress or when the time they did cheat on their wife, but they won't tell their wife about that. But the wives will somehow think that, oh, he respects me because he doesn't want me to know. And I'm like, is that respect? Because he's able to open up to you,
right?
But he's not able to open up to his wife.
So my question is now, yes or no? We just saw her agree with the absolute opposite.
It was low, Asia. It's really hard to hear.
It was low?
Mm-hmm.
I heard it well.
It was low for all of you. Heard it well too.
No,
I think it's your earpiece, Pete. And then Rob, you did hear it well or you did not?
I did hear it all.
I heard it fine.
Okay, Ron didn't hear it at all. So what Tasha K was saying is that when a man and a woman or woman comes forward, they show half of themselves and then they present the other half and expect it to just be received. And the stripper said, yeah, well, that's not fair. No, but I thought you just said that whatever happens that she shouldn't act. That's why it's seen as pick me, because literally 2 seconds later, you said something different. But you want to know what men will take? And women, it depends on what side it is. So if it's women, the ones that don't have any sense, they'll agree with what's being said because it's in their favor of the bullshit. Pick me is about being in favor of bullshit. If you don't have all the facts, you shouldn't be commenting on a certain platform. With this social media thing, and Pierre and I talked about it earlier, it's a certain responsibility based on your platform, based on the topic, based on your audience. And you have to cater to that particular audience. Now, if she was speaking to strippers, she could absolutely say that. Like, this is what the niggas gonna say when they come in. So be prepared for it. That nigga might cry. Be ready for him. Be whatever he tells you to be. Or, I don't know. Males don't get that close at male clubs, I don't think. So it's not the same. Let me play one more, and then I want to hear your feedback. I hope you could hear it. I hope you could hear it. Ron, I don't know if you'll be able to. Here we go.
This conversation needs to be had. And Kevin Samuels, did you listen to Kevin Samuels?
I did.
Okay. Did you agree with a lot of things that you said?
Not a lot. 50,
Why?
50.
What did you disagree with?
I disagreed with him trying to make it seem like women needed to depend solely on a man.
Okay, that was misogynistic. Okay, and I think he trolled a lot when he did that, because him and I had a lot of conversations behind the scenes.
Yeah,
he didn't really give a shit one way or another. Most men that are educated, they tend to attract women that are educated. Mm-hmm. So it's not them attracting a woman that's going to be totally submissive is just out of the question. So they would rather pay for it,
right?
And then they pay for the submissiveness. If you're going to go for the top 10% of educated men, high earning men, you have to understand this comes with a certain lifestyle that he's going to be expecting, because to make this kind of money and be a black man in America, you are going to have to accept some things that you may not want to accept, which is he's going to have multiple women. Absolutely. You don't have to accept that. He didn't word it right, because I'm just like, you have to frame it like top 10% of men want hoes.
Absolutely.
They pay for hoes.
Absolutely.
They want peace.
Absolutely.
If they want kids, they want you at home with the kids.
Absolutely.
They don't want you doing nothing else.
Absolutely.
And if you want this lifestyle, you can't expect this man to be only yours.
Absolutely.
Because he chose you to be the mother of the kids.
Absolutely.
He didn't choose you to be a partner.
Who was not able to hear, so I could give a recap?
I wasn't.
I sent them to you, Ron.
Okay.
What she said in that one is that, hold on, let me get back to the comments. What she said, who was not able to hear? Just raise your hand real quick. Okay, perfect. Oh, nope. I got an even better one. You guys, please bear with us tonight. Let me play it again for them, because unfortunately, I don't want to give a recap. And it's much easier to just play it for them. So we will hear it. And I think it was... this one.
Okay. Did you agree with a lot of things that you said?
Not a lot.
Why? What did you disagree with?
I disagree with him trying to make it seem like women needed to depend solely on a man.
Okay, that was misogynistic, okay? And I think he trolled a lot when he did that, because him and I had a lot of conversations behind the scenes.
Yeah.
He didn't really give a shit one way or another. Most men that are educated, they tend to attract women that are educated. Mm-hmm. So it's not them attracting, a woman that's going to be totally submissive is just out of the question. So they would rather pay for it,
right?
And then they pay for the submissiveness. If you're going to go for the top 10% of educated men, high earning men, you have to understand this comes with a certain lifestyle that he's going to be expecting, because to make this kind of money and be a black man in America, you are going to have to accept some things that you may not want to accept, which is he's going to have multiple women.
Absolutely.
You don't have to accept that. He didn't word it right, because I'm just like, you have to frame it like top 10% of men want hoes.
Absolutely.
They pay for hope.
Absolutely.
They want peace.
Absolutely.
If they want kids, they want you at home with the kids.
Absolutely.
They don't want you doing nothing else.
Absolutely.
And if you want this lifestyle, you can't expect this man to be only yours.
Absolutely.
Because he chose you to be the mother of the kids.
Absolutely.
He didn't choose you to be a partner.
So now my question is, and I'll allow everybody to go. First with Kevin Samuels. One of the things I've always said is that nobody, and I think we all have that have some sense, people aren't paying attention. All of these men and women have developed these behaviors, the way we talk to each other, based off of what a man said to sell. He was also a product, right? he didn't really give a fuck because he's in that top 10% or whatever. So like she said, he's going to go for what he wants. The women that would be calling into the show, either agreeing or getting upset, weren't in the top 10. He's not going for you. So we're not aligning what we are looking for with what somebody's actually talking about. They didn't hear him, and that benefited him greatly. But what it also did was change our culture. Because it was somebody like him talking like that, men that didn't even make $50,000 was listening to him and then talking to women that were looking for either 10%ers or whomever, like they were in the 10%, and then women that were not appropriate for the 10% that he's talking about, because you're educated, you want to work, whatever fell under those things that he told us, and they were upset, and they were then taking it out on all men. That's where the whole pick me thing comes from for me. And that's why this particular interview, they actually started with saying those bad things first and then said the things later. But she came out strong, telling women, he don't want to hear you nag. You know what the nagging is about? Is it nagging? You don't know that, but you just told all women that we nag and they have to go out into the world and do these things. Well, women do too. You made an excuse for it. So in those particular situations, how do you think, even dealing with Kevin Samuels and these people, these social media people that preach this shit, fuck up our culture, and then sit back and watch it happen and have no problem? How is the pick me and the simp, I don't know if it's another name for a male, the simp hurting us as regular people? We're not in that rich space.
I think that's where people are getting it twisted. You're trying to cross people over. Okay, so like if you're as you mentioned, a 10%er, if you don't make 50 grand, you're not in that class. But at the same time, I think we can't classify men and what they want and expect with how much money they have, because there's a bunch of these.
No, that's what Kevin Samuels said, not me.
Yeah, no, I'm saying even him. He's wrong about that, because he's right about the fact that maybe you have to be able to maybe afford it, but at the same time, most men want multiple women, whether they broke or they got $1 in their pocket or $1 million in their pocket. Like, it's just the truth of the matter. Like, it don't matter how much money you got. Like, that's just most men's nature. They want multiple women, and they're gonna have the baby mama, the wife, or whoever it is, domestic partner, however you want to classify it, as the one that's going to be their homemaker, stay at home, take care of the kids, wash the clothes, clean, whatever, all that other shit, while they go out into the world and do their thing. Even an average hustler, live like that, like they're a top 10%er. You know what I'm saying? So I think the pick-me's, as you said, the pick-me women, they fuck it up for the regular ones, because I want you to address the nagging thing. Like, what is nagging? So a woman is nagging if she's complaining about her dude coming home at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning 3 or 4 nights a week. That's nagging? No, that's a legit complaint. Motherfucker, you ain't supposed to be coming home at 5 o'clock in the morning unless you're at a job or making some money, doing something productive. That's not nagging, my nigga. Like, that's not nagging. So you can't classify everything as nagging. If you're doing some bullshit in your relationship that you're not supposed to be doing, you can't call that nagging. So I think that's where they fuck it up. And then the simps fuck it up. The simps they fuck it up to the extent of selling a fantasy. There's not very many simps like that. Like, men don't usually operate that. So you're selling a fantasy. Men don't operate like that. Stop making it seem like there's a whole bunch of motherfucking Russell Wilsons out there, because there's not. Men don't operate like Russell Wilson, and I'm only using him because they call him a simp. I have nothing against Russell myself, but using him, as you said, Sierra's husband. So I think that's where they're fucking up, selling something that's not realistic and not real and not sustainable. So I think the simps and
Dr. P.
This stuff is so interesting. This last year, I'm newly single. You know, I've been off the market for over a decade. So this last year has been very interesting with the social media combination of the dating rules and dating game and this and this and you know I sit there and I'm listening to all these ideologies and these new definitions of words that are made up that are based off of behaviors that are so circumstantial, and it's
That's
like
right.
we act like we're all the same person and we're
That's
not.
right.
We're all
That's right.
different, and there's so many other things attached, external and internal factors and blah 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 blah. And my mind is so blown, like I'm just trying to keep up with the definitions. I'm just sitting there like,
Girl, you see,
when
I don't
did
even
this?
know the terms. I done forgot to look that part up.
Yeah, I was like, what? So I do appreciate, you know, like definitions that I'm trying to catch. But let me tell you this from this perspective as a professional that sees individuals and couples of different faiths, different ethnicities, cultures, and age, generations, economic status. It all still boils down to the same thing: same sex, opposite sex. It don't matter. The problems exist, whether someone's dating, talking, married, open relationships, poly. It's all bullshit. You know why? Because people are not transparent with who they are, with what they want, and what ends up happening. It goes all the way back to everything else that we've learned in life. When things don't go your way, you just find another ideology to follow that basically colludes to your story, into whatever type of lifestyle you want. And it's really unfortunate because I have came across men and they're so amped up with this whole, I always call him Colonel Sanders, but you know the guy I'm talking about, you know, the guy that passed away.
Kevin Sanders.
Yeah, him.
Colonel Sanders.
Listen, I don't remember his name. I never remember his name, but everybody talks about this guy so much. I've never ever. I don't do so. You know, I don't do social media. I just started, so you know, I'm still trying to figure this out. But it's the energy is what blows me away. It's
Yes.
the energy, and I'm listening to men, and they got these. Don't you do this and don't you do this, and then I'm watching the young ladies like, and you better have this and you better have this, and I'm thinking to myself like, here's the thing. You can't say what somebody need to have until you have it. So I will be very clear. Some of these entertainers, what most people forget is they're entertainers and they actually got the money. So even when they're running around, and you know, I love my ratchet music. So
Yes.
even when I'm listening to what's her little name, Sexy Red, and we're like, oh my gosh, she is so explicit, and she wants what? She makes money. She can ask for those things. Megan makes her own money. All these different people, when they're saying certain things to females, just like the men who say to certain things, if you're making money and what you're saying is, hey, I want someone of this caliber, or because I make this money, you gonna submit. If I'm gonna spend money on you, what do I get out of it? That's kind of how that goes. I just think the social media platform blows it up, fantasizes it, ideology. It's like artist ideology, and I think the illusions confuse people, and
They don't confuse people.
They get lost in the sauce. You know
Lost
what I
in the
mean?
sauce, for sure.
And I just be, yeah, I just, and the sad part of it is then they come to therapy, and I tell them get off the dating rules and out of social media, and let's get back to the person who you met, and let's figure that part out.
That part.
And just
Okay,
start there.
JoJo.
Yeah, but okay. So, okay. First things first, we have to try and frame the conversation. Are we having a moralistic thing, or are we trying to pull the mores out of it, and we're trying to deal with statistics and whatever it is observable reality in front of us? We said earlier that a pick-me is a woman who tends to align with men's perspectives, whether it's right or wrong. I don't know. And again, to me, a simp is someone that rewards bad behavior. So if you're going to be a simp, you're going to be a man who rewards a woman's bad behavior. Those are the ways that the terms were explained to me. Now, when it comes
To
to
you?
Kevin, well, the way it was explained to me.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to Kevin Samuels, I agree with some of his stuff. The way I understood it was, I come from a different culture. The culture that I come from, the things that he says that men are willing to pay for to get, the culture that I come from, I didn't need to be rich to get it. All I needed to do was to be a good man to get it. And then apparently, men who think of themselves as good men are saying, hey, I'm not able to get it anymore. What happened? Why? And they're trying to understand. I thought that that was the. Now, how certain things were said, what was said, how it was said, I disagreed with a lot of it. But you got to be able to pick the message out of whatever is being said if you can. So I thought that that was the basis of the conversation he was having.
Okay. That's a great perspective. And we will elaborate more on that on the next show. So let me tell you, these are the top reasons why, or these are the top things that men will tell a mistress, but will not tell the wife. Um, Number one, they will tell the mistress. They will tell the mistress about their issues with their wife because they want to get open and honest, constructive feedback. A mistress, open, honest, and constructive feedback.
That's what?
This is what men reporting?
That don't even make sense. Like, open, honest feedback from a mistress.
Yeah.
How do you?
Because she's a woman. Because she's a woman, and he has a woman at home. So maybe she has insight that he doesn't have. Whether she's qualified to give that insight or not, I don't know. But his intention is, because she's a woman,
His
and the
intention.
wife at home is a woman, he would like to have insight. Maybe something he's not seeing, maybe something he's missing, so maybe something he's not understanding. When a
So he
woman
skipped his
says,
mom, he skipped his sister, he skipped his best friend, he
pastor's
skipped the
wife.
cousin,
I
he
wasn't,
skipped the
I
therapist, he
wasn't
skipped the
saying it was
pastor,
right.
he skipped
I
his boss.
wasn't saying it
You
was right.
cannot get
I
nothing
wasn't
constructive
saying
from
it
a
was.
mistress.
I wasn't saying it was right. I didn't say it was right. I'm saying
I
this
would hope
is
that's not the
probably the
reason,
case.
because that
No,
reason makes him sound stupid.
no, JoJo's right. A lot of men do think that way. I think that's what he's trying to
Yes,
say. Like, a
that's
lot
what
of
I'm
men
trying to say.
think that way.
Would you think that way?
That way.
No, of course not. I'm just saying a lot of men do, and that
You,
just shows how
men
A
would
lot
come
of
in, because
men.
the answer's here. Yeah.
a
No,
lot
but
of
wait, no, but wait. So there are different things happening all at the same time. Okay, so you're my wife. Okay, I'm not able to, for whatever reason, we're not able to discuss this issue. All right, now as a couple, maybe I'm feeling as though if I do take my problem to my sister or my mom, who may or may not be favorable to that wife of mine that I have at home, will I get insight? Will I get advice? Will I get any kind of input that is going to be what I need it to be, which is something constructive? If I now, the therapist idea, I've actually tried that when I was married. Guess what? You can be with a therapist, or you can be paired with a therapist that is not proper for the marriage you have. So, for example, if I'm married to someone who is Christian, for example, in a lot of our marriage is based on that, and I go to someone who's probably not in that sphere, perhaps, or perhaps not, whatever it is that we're going through therapy, if it's not faith-based, maybe it's not appropriate to us. So again, I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying in their mind, what they're trying to do is, this person is biased, this person doesn't know anything. I will tell my side of the story. I will attempt to relate as fairly as I possibly can the opposite side of the story, and now someone who's neutral, who knows nothing about anyone, is apparently going to give some kind of insight. I don't know.
Okay. Here,
I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying this is how
Dr. P.
the process.
That's the word I was waiting for the whole time. It's simple. It's some when someone is in a monogamous relationship, when they're married and they made the decision to step out and have an affair, there's something that's allowing them to connect on an intimate level. So that other person who they're talking to, it's about in their mind. It doesn't mean it's appropriate and correct, but part of that intimacy of connectedness, I'm thinking you're going to be neutral. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not the one that I share my life with. So you really don't have nothing to lose. So let me go ahead and talk to you. Does it all the way make sense? No. But again, when that person stepped out, that behavior already showed you that they weren't being reasonable or rational or anything in connection to their unit, right? Or because if they was, then they could have just they could have just had that conversation with their spouse. And so I 100% agree. It's no different than when people have taxi cab confessions and talk to the nail technicians and talk to who they're getting the hair and the barber. You know, you don't know those people either, but people start doing this real quick. And so when you decide to lay down with somebody, I think sometimes we always look at, there's two different types of affairs. There's affairs to fuck,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's affairs for some type of intimacy, whether it's emotional or physical. And usually someone who's pillow talking, they're not fucking. They're connecting. And that's when all that stuff starts coming out. And, you know, it creates a mess.
Ron?
I think damn, I lost my thought. I think men have to start, or not just men, people, like
People.
whatever.
Well, no, men, because we're talking about, for this whole segment, it's only men. The next one will be women. Yeah.
So we talking about, okay, so men, I think we lose sight of a sense of spirituality. Now, whatever that means, whatever religion or practice or faith that you choose, I think a lack of faith causes us to do these things and go outside seeking this advice when we should be seeking the advice from the Father. And if you have a relationship with God, now, like I said, it could be, if it's Jesus to you or Allah, whatever name you want to give, you know, God. I think that's where the hierarchy goes. It always goes God, you know, us, and like we have to start looking to that. And maybe it don't mean just having a conversation where you could hear God's voice. You got to take His guidance. Why would you go to a side girl or someone that's not in that position for some goddamn advice for marriage? That don't even make no type of sense. She's not gonna, whether she has nothing to lose or not. First of all, if she's there right there, like she's not there for the right reason. She's not there with any good intent. So how are you taking advice from somebody who don't have no good intent for your marriage or your relationship? That makes absolutely zero. Men cannot be that fucking retarded. Like you guys cannot be that. It can't, like on that survey, like who were they testing? Like what clowns were they testing? Like why would y'all think that's fucking appropriate? Like that don't make no type of sense. So it's like going to someone like that to get some advice on what to do with your wife instead of going to, like Asia said, you know, the pastor. And I'm not saying the pastor and wife is always right, but you know, these are just examples. You know, auntie, uncle, grandma, grandpa, daddy, mama, and daddy.
Another married couple.
Another married couple, another friend married couple. I mean, there's a lot of people out there than to choose just some side girl to talk to about your wife. Like, men gotta stop putting themselves in those positions, man. Like, stop being goofy. Like, that just don't make no logical sense.
But here's the thing. I think we're also.
Well, wait. We're gonna move to the next one.
Okay.
That's it. I only want your first initial response, and that's fine. Because everybody, either you're giving your perspective from what you know, what you've heard, or what you've experienced. That's it. That shit is wild. So
You're about to
wow,
find out. You're about to find out about men today, and it's not pretty.
no. Well, with men, I love men. I love men. I respect them. I have the most amazing men in my life, and I will uplift a king in a minute. What I will not uplift is a jackass. Won't do that. So the next one is they will discuss intimacy issues, concerns or dissatisfaction with their sex life, and their wives could potentially be shared with the mistress.
I'll take that one first. I've been waiting on this one.
Short answer.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Look, if I like my booty hole licked a little bit, you know, and you say you ain't gonna do it, I might have to find someone who's willing to do it. Know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
Now that shit makes perfect sense. It's ownership. It's me. I did it.
If I like a little bit of thumb action and you don't want to do it, I mean, you know, I might have to find somebody who want to do it. You know what I'm saying? You know, if I'm looking for someone who can suck it from the back, but you say you don't want to because it's too much ball action on your forehead, hey, I got to find someone who want to do it.
Next person. No, so what I will say to that is the same thing we said through all of these things. And that goes back to I think the first or second clip that I played. People will show half of themselves. They show their representative, the one that aligns, the one that looks good, the one that people typically like, and they don't show who they are. And then you expect this person to just jump into it, but you never showed them this person. You didn't give them a choice. Start telling your shit. Because if it's who you are, it's who you are. But start off with your shit. How about that? And then you'll get the person that aligns. You won't find out later and then get mad when they have no problem saying no. Next.
I just want to say, I don't do these things, though. I was just saying. I don't do those things, though, but I was just saying.
From my understanding, those are like the top 3 things that I have heard. Because, honey, I got another list for that. And those are the top 3 things. And I was like, those are the top 3 things. Okay.
Can you say those top 3 things one more time for me?
No, that I didn't give the top 3 that he said.
No, I'm saying the what was it?
The thing.
Yeah.
Yes. He'll discuss intimacy issues, concerns or dissatisfaction about their sex life with their wives could potentially be shared with the mistress.
Again, I know things change. You know, as we get older.
Again, you're dumb.
Nah, I know things change as we get older, and you know, especially women. You know, after having a few babies or a baby or anything, hormones change. Different things change. Like different women's bodies go through different stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's up to us men to be there and to nurture and to care and to try to take care of her during that time of vulnerability with her body and everything and her mental, and try to get her back right, because you know she had our kid. That's our kid that she birthed out. So I think we have to take some ownership of that. Now, as I said earlier, like, and to your point, stop getting into relationship and marriages without knowing the full person. These conversations should be had about what you prefer in your sex life beforehand, before jumping going deep in. You guys should talk about this stuff. That's why people need to stop just having sex with somebody that you want to be with. Talk about this shit first to see if you guys are about that life and you're compatible. Because if the motherfucker don't like doing that other shit that you like, you could nip that in the bud in the beginning. Okay, next, you ain't for me. You don't like that. That's more power to you, but you ain't for me. Now I got to go find somebody that's for me. Don't get into the relationship, put a few babies in her, have her hormones going wild, and then expect her to turn into Jim and Jameson or one of them, you know, porno hoes. Like, okay, like, you can't do that. You have to be very transparent about what you want in the beginning on both sides, and that way it'll save you from, okay, down the road, she ain't doing this, or well, nigga, you knew she wasn't doing that when you got with her, so what the fuck? So, you know, that's how I feel about that.
And nothing but a little thumb. That's just a little thumb. A little thumb rub. That's all it is.
I gotta show y'all this video real quick. So one night when PGP was here, we was we was doing a freaking, what was we doing? I think we was recording or something like that. And all of a sudden, I think JB said something about thumbing it, but and everybody turned around and said this shit at the same time, and we was recording, and I was like, now I can't use this damn thing because we keep saying that. That was before we started talking like this, so now I can go edit and actually post it. So that's the PGP thing, thumbing it, but that's where that came from. Keep it real if you need right. I'm just saying, Dr. Taylor. Okay, Dr. P, short answer. You need the question again?
A little thumb, just a little thumb, doctor.
Stop distracting people with this damn thumb.
You want that nail in there?
Right.
I'll scratch up that booty hole.
Let her get those stilettos. It's over.
I do believe that I believe those are true statements. Because when people are definitely having affairs, the hope is that the person you're having an affair with is going to give you what you're not getting at home. So yeah, I could see them being like, and I haven't been kissed, and then that new person's like, well, let me slob you down, and you're like, whoa, bam, there you go. Because things do change in relationships, you know what I mean? And when someone else new is coming around, remember that's fresh, that's for that moment. So you got a good chance. If they say no, you didn't lose. You're already not getting it at home anyway. So of course they're going to share what a deficit is to kind of see if they can get that. It's kind of the reason. I mean, who wants to have an affair and then you're not going to get
the same exact thing, right?
Yeah, that's kind of dumb. Can you just not have the affair?
Well, I think we got to kill that notion that men cheat and do stuff to get what they're not. No, niggas cheat because they just like fucking multiple women. Like, it ain't just because you ain't getting it at home. No, it ain't even be that. Not 90% of the time.
It don't. That's true.
Niggas just like we gotta stop making excuses and reasons. No,
it's not that deep.
It ain't that deep. Niggas is just greedy and not faithful. Like, it ain't because you ain't getting this or that at home. It's niggas like multiple women and always have from the beginning of time. Go back to the Bible days and look at the concubines. Look at David killing niggas to fuck their wives. Like, come on, like, this has been a problem from the jump. Like, niggas just like multiple women. Ain't no reason or rhyme for that shit.
I'm not going to be long. I slightly disagree, and I only disagree because if your statement is the narrative, I think what that does is it silences the opportunity for some men who really got stuff going on at home. And I understand their choices aren't great. I know, I was one of them. Their choices aren't great. I wasn't saying that I liked jumping off the cliff, but I got at the edge of the cliff for a reason, and I think a lot of people don't have the conversations about how we got there, and I just don't want those conversations to be muted.
I know you're not trying to circle back with a whole speech, and you started with
that's a small
thumb
part
in
of it.
there.
I'm talking about the max. The max.
You're right. You're right. That's what I was saying.
That's what I was saying. They want to cheat.
That's what I was saying. I did want.
We agree with you because we agree with you. So we talked about all sides. Everybody got their own. We don't get to agree or disagree.
I'm just saying. I just wanted my booty hole licked a little bit. She said no.
That was a fool.
I just wanted a little thumb in the butt. Just wanted a little,
What is that girl's name that be? What's that girl's name that's from the show that be rapping with Sexy Red? What's her name?
Hoopty,
Suki.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen her on stage when she walk behind the dude and she be like, ah. Every time JoJo say that, I picture her walking behind him going.
Yeah, just
you need to go to one of her concerts, and it would damn sure happen on the stage.
Just give me a little gobble gobble 5,000. It's nothing but 5,000. It's a little gobble gobble. Put a little.
Go to her concert, get on stage. She will
a little coconut oil in the back. Look.
And this is the same person that got upset when somebody got close to her and tried to kiss her. This is the same person. So that's why you watch your damn behavior. Again, reality is versus what these people is selling. So thank you for bringing her up, sister. I love it. Thank you. So I just can't. I can't wait to see what the women stuff looks like. because all of these are stupid. Now let me now that one made sense. That one made sense. Because your desires, anything to me related with a desire, a strong one, I could see how it could make you want to do these things, right? The ones I don't agree with is like the first one. Us talking about you're going to the mistress because you think she's going to give you sound advice, like things like that. I don't agree with that. Because that makes no sense. You already didn't make sound advice, you slut. Like that doesn't make any sense. The fuck? Yes, let's go to her. She don't have nothing to lose. Funny. Let me see. The nigga's over there with her. She does have something to lose. Let's see. He could go back home and be faithful and stop bringing her tacos. He could possibly replace the sheets that she has for curtains with actual curtains. I don't know. She can get a ring on her hand and have a wedding. She has something to lose. She doesn't make sound decisions. Need to speak. Well, you can. Go ahead and give your response. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, this is a good one. Now, this is a good one. Frustrations about family or in-laws, complex family dynamics, disagreements or frustration with their in-laws might be shared with the mistress.
Oh.
Now, that's another good one, like this one. To me, that's another. And we'll end with that one. Dr. Tacos, I'm trying to tell you. Remind me to tell you a story when we get in privacy. I got a good motherfucking story.
Tacos.
I'm trying to tell you. Okay. So I'm going to tell you guys what I want you to respond from perspective because it's good for outside people. So JoJo, I want you to respond based on the dynamic of your family versus what an American family looks like because it's different.
Okay. At least my experience of it. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Okay. So this one is actually really personal to me. It's very close to me because
then don't.
Oh no, let's it's okay. It's okay. I can actually speak on it. This is very personal to me because it was one of the reasons, not the only reason, not the most important reason, but it was one of the reasons why I believe my marriage failed. Is that we came into a situation with expectations. She verbalized to me, she comes from a small family, my ex-wife, born and raised here. I come from Africa, so the cultures are going to be very different. When we got together, she came in with the perspective that she wanted to know and experience what she felt was a big family, something that she had never seen before, she never knew, she never understood. And coming from that aspect, this is something that I know, I grew up in, so it came to a clash when it came for her to understand and realize that all these different family members that you have to somehow be able to manage, it takes a little bit of work to be able to do all of that work. And she not being used to it, either she did not want to or wasn't willing to or didn't know how. I know that I came into the situation not having a lot of patience because it's something that she said she wanted. So when someone tells me that they want something and they don't know how to do it, in my mind, I'm thinking, well, let me teach you. And if you're not receptive, then I get frustrated. So this one is really close to the heart for me because that's kind of what happened there, where we had certain family dynamics, situations where I would have preferred for her to handle it one way and she didn't. And her not handling it the way that I wished for her to handle it kind of caused a griff. And this is so this one is actually close, pretty close to the chest for me because I actually lived it firsthand.
I think that that's an important one. If you come from a family that culturally aligns one way and you're marrying the person, but you're also marrying the family because you're marrying that depending on the type of family that it is. Some families are truly driven by culture, right? Like let's take it out of Black. There are Asian families, Indian families where as their elders get old, they are automatically coming to stay with you. Now, what age that looks like, it may be different. If the family is not here, you may be required as the eldest or a family member to send X amount of dollars back to their home. That is something that is a requirement. It is your culture. It is what you believe. It is not an option. You get it? But for when you're from somebody from here, you really need to take that into consideration because that's similar to telling somebody, don't take care of your children, don't pay child support. Like it is that serious. That is what it is. So if you can't align with those things, I don't understand why these conversations aren't had and the explanations aren't there.
Yeah, I have a family member. If you can't
accept it, don't do it because that person's not going to change. They're not, and they shouldn't.
I actually have a family member who's dealing with that right now. To give you a little snippet, they married someone who was born and raised here. They are from overseas, from where I'm from, and he wanted his family to come from Africa. So he had them sign up for what is called the family green card program to bring the family. The wife said no. And you need a co-signer. The wife said no. And it's big, it's important for him so he can bring his mom and dad so he can give them better care. Care here is better than back home. So that's his intention. But the wife said no. And then her argument is she's been in situations where family come, they never leave, they always mess up. So she has a valid point. But
right, that's the sad part. That's why I'm just shaking my head like I don't have an opinion. That's a hard one.
Both of them, it's not really a hard one though, because both people are right. See, I don't understand.
That's why I mean hard, brother, because both are right.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand why these conversations are not had before you get married. Like, how do you not talk about this type of shit before you get married? Like, we got to stop jumping into these marriages and relationships without talking about the important. Marriage is a lifelong thing, and people forget that. Right. We're not talking about just right now. We're talking about what we going to do 20 years from now, what we going to do 30 years from now, what we going to do as we get older. We got to start talking about this shit before we say I do. These conversations got to be had about family and how we deal with the elders and stuff. That shit, you have to see if you align.
That is a part of your life and death.
That's what I'm saying. So people they skip over this conversation because somebody look good or they got bread or they nice or they wear nice jeans or they Air Force Ones is clean. Whatever the fucking reasons are, people are forgetting to talk about the important shit. And that's with children and with elders and with in-laws. Like these conversations have to be had from the jump. That way you ain't got to do this 30 years or 10 years from now or later. It won't be no surprises. That's where you know you're aligned. If you don't agree with that, you are not aligned. You're going to struggle in your marriage because one person is going to be unhappy with the decision that's made, no matter the compromise, no matter okay, we're going to do it like this. We agree. But inside, you're going to be dying. So why would you not want to nip that in the bud in the beginning? And this is teaching me these conversations we're having.
Oh, absolutely.
Me. You feel me? Like I'm not saying
things you don't know to ask.
You know what I'm saying? Like this is important for us to talk about this shit before we agree to join a long-term, lifelong commitment.
I would have never thought. So we'll actually stay right here because that was a perfect example that we could use because that I would have never thought about that. But I'm with you. So one of my hashtags in the post was coward. And this is a perfect example of why. Because I feel like, and I don't know which one is the family member and which one isn't. And I don't care. I'm giving my opinion because as the person on the side that is engaged in a culture or the one that has children if the other one doesn't, or the one that has parents that are a little bit older and it's a part of their culture to take in parents and the other one doesn't. Whichever one has the information, it's their job, just like you would properly train your employee, to properly tell them all this information because the person on the other side don't know what all the questions are to ask. The person on the other side, you're not asking these questions because you're assuming, because something hasn't come up and they talk about a little bit of something, and immediately when you think in your head, I ain't doing that shit, or that's not something I would like. Instead of you asking those questions because you don't want the answer, you just want time to go. Everybody wants time to go thinking it's going to change the other person. Well, if they're in love with me, they'll do this. And you fuck yourself because you knew right at the beginning. You know, that's like a woman getting with somebody and can't have kids. A man getting with a woman and has you know that there's nothing you can do to change that. But you don't have these conversations. So you are a liar and a manipulator on the front because you knew damn well you should have said it. You don't say, well, you never asked. How do they know? How do you know what to ask if you don't know about something? You don't. These conversations it's insane, the things that you have a couple that gets all the way to the finish line and they're really, really good, but this one thing knocks them out the park. And it's like, you just lost your whole marriage for that? When you could have talked about it, it could have been some type of, you never know. Maybe this person didn't know they needed to put their name on the paperwork too. Or maybe because the economy is fucked right now out here, they're like, put them where? How are we going to afford this? That's a lot of stress. It's unknown. It's scary. And then to the other person, they like, this is nothing. We're used to this. Yeah, you are. But the other person isn't. We're not considering the other person. People is being selfish with a lot of things. And this shit is out of control. This is why. So I heard, and this could happen on the women's side too. I heard, who is that? Jenny, and who is she married to? Yeezy? They getting a divorce because something like, she's of Asian descent, and her mother and brother have been in a household with them the whole time, and that's not something that he wants. So that's a culture clash for them. And while they're getting a divorce. Well, now he knew this shit going. You didn't see your mama when she walked in the door? You didn't see her when you met her?
The last thing that was posted, my friend was telling me about that situation, had to do with their child, something about walking to school, and him wanting things to be private and her posting things on social media.
Oh, yes, that was a part of it too.
Him feeling like, that makes our child a target, and her saying like, but I'm an influencer or whatever. Like,
yeah, you are, man.
Things like that, where it's like, we knew all these different things prior to. How did we get this far? And I'll tell you what ends up happening. Let's take all the celebrities out and let's go back to everyday average people, because it's the same all the way around. You hear it, but you're not hearing it, right? Like someone's just doing this and you're like, oh, okay, and boop, and you skip right over it because, like you said, somebody's so in tune to what they want, that, or the ideology of something, or with the idea that they're gonna make you who they want you to be, or you'll change your mind, that they're not really paying attention to what you said, who you are, and what you're showing them. You know what I mean? Why do we do that? We just do. I ask many couples, why did y'all wait until now to come? Why y'all didn't do premarital or couples counseling when you guys were first getting together, and the moment you decided that the two of you wanted to merge your life together? Why you didn't seek help then? And you know what ends up happening? And it takes people a minute, but then it finally comes out, and here's the overall thing. Because nobody wants the next person telling them that there's a possibility the relationship is not going to work. And we'll always tell people, had it ever occurred to you that it's not so much that your relationship wouldn't work, but maybe somebody's going to pose factual conversation and questions that you are purposely overlooking. You're closing your eyes to the red flag.
Accountability.
Yeah, you don't want to be held accountable to the fact that this person is everything you want except for that one thing. Well, that one thing sometimes that you think is so insignificant can blow everything out the water.
It's usually it's that thing.
The number one thing that blows everybody's shit out of the water is whether or not they have children. The regrets from men.
And that's why I gave the example that I gave, and you were right. Something as a child, we can use that example because that's everyday life. I'm an influencer. Yeah, you are. My baby is not. That's not your baby. Sorry, baby. And if I am not, so you visually see I am not, I'm accepting that you are, and I'm even stepping into your space sometimes. But what I told you is I don't want that for our child. You mean to tell me you're going to let go of your marriage for that?
Right.
Isn't that what Kim just got into with Kanye about that? He told her about the whole Ice Spice thing. And next thing you know, she's like, oh, it's not a big deal. Da-da-da-da. And then I saw an interview with her. And she was like, okay. And she still didn't want to say, okay, he was right. She still didn't want to say it. And that shit backfired on her. That's, that young lady is a young adult. And this is a child. And I know you want things to be innocent. And maybe even between the two dynamics it was. But you got to think further out. But see, that wasn't about whether it was right or wrong. It was the fact that they're co-parenting and they're not listening to each other. I 100%, whether you're together in a relationship or not, the point is when you're in a dynamic with another person, two people need to learn to respect each other's opinions and find a common ground to agree to disagree or to compromise to do something. And it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen in the relationship. And then guess what happens? It damn sure don't happen outside of it. So, like all this stuff, it just sometimes it blows my mind because people are so busy in their own heads about what they want that they just, I guess they think they're the only ones that exist in the relationship. And it's not like that. And then you acting all shocked, like, because I can tell you being very transparent. I saw stuff in previous marriages. I sure did. And I just rolled on that little coattail of fake hope. And, and I had to turn around and say, you know what? Being hopeful is not foolish, but it is foolish to be hopeful in something that no one even showed you that they had the, like they never showed you they had the idea.
You've never seen it from them.
Yeah, like they never told you they had interest in that. They never said that. But you over here being hopeful. It's like a private hidden hope. That's foolish.
You make that up yourself. You put them on that pedestal and expected them to stay there. How?
They never told you that. They never told you that.
I'll agree. So we will actually end with those two. You want to know why? Because they're perfect. So make note of this. Two things that she said. One is what Kim did. That shit was messed up. You only didn't listen to Kanye because you simply didn't want to say that this man was right. You're an asshole. I think that's stuff that women do. And then they try to hide behind, I'm a mother. I love my kids. Bitch, you being a bitch. That don't have nothing to do with the kids. Because if you'd have simply listened to the lyrics, stupid, he shouldn't have had to tell you that. All of social media told you that. And then you listened. And then you didn't have enough sense to say, I am sorry. And you don't think nobody saw that? That's crazy. So I bet you that's going to be on the list. And then the other one is the one she just said, the fake hope. So see, there are some people that hang in their marriage or relationship because that has been seen before. That is the person they normally know. Something happens and something changes. You're expecting something to come back. That is completely different than hoping that you get something that was never there. And I bet you that's going to be on the list as well. Watch. So that is it for us tonight. We will we'll have everybody close with, if you was to cheat, what would be a reason why you would cheat? Not in marriage, just in a relationship. Quick.
I changed my mind. I don't love you. Oh, that made me laugh.
Okay. So you would cheat simply because you changed your mind. I would cheat for mental stimulation. I don't care how much money you make. I care if you're dumb or not.
Sexual. I love it.
Damn, that's a hard one. I think I would. I can't even think too deep about that one right now. I'm just gonna be surface. I think I think I would cheat just to experience some new clappers.
Because I'm saying it ain't that motherfucking deep all the time.
Like, just say it. Say it, best friend.
What gets deep is the excuse you try to make to validate. That's how it. Oh, well, I feel like this. You a motherfucking lie.
You a motherfucking lie.
You just don't have no discipline. You want some new Peter.
That's it.
Come on, JoJo. I know what you're gonna say.
Right.
Actually, on this one, I'm not going to participate. Knowing what I know now, I just wouldn't. Why? Precisely because answering the question of why did you do it, and no matter what argument, whether it's valid or not valid, whatever I come up with, for it to not even be heard or listened to, you weren't giving me the thumb, you weren't listening to me, you weren't, whatever it is.
So he gave a reason without giving a reason. You still gave a reason.
Because I was in a position where I think Doctor said it earlier. She said, and for a lot of people who don't know, men cheat either out of vice or as a coping mechanism. I've done both. On the last one, on the last one, it was out of coping. And because I wasn't able to get the things that I needed at home, I went and looked for it elsewhere. When the conversation came, but why did you do it? And I explained the reasons as to why I didn't do it. It's obviously I'm not able to get past but you shouldn't have done it. And I'm like, well, I know I shouldn't have done it, but can we have the conversation about why I did it? And we never got to that conversation. So it's a wrap for me.
Not good.
It's a wrap for me. I'm not cheating no more. And I would like my reasons to be, because I love her and because I care for her. I will never do it because I will never be in that hot seat and have to answer questions that no one really wants to hear the answers to. I'm sorry, I will not do it.
Hell yeah, just leave. Shit.
Yeah, I just leave.
I actually was told I was cheated on before, and I was like, that is a really good answer.
Yeah, I just leave.
Look, this is my sister, this is my brother. They can tell you, I tell the truth about shit. The answer was good. I was like, I didn't even know that I did that. Now, I wish you would have told me, so now I don't trust you. We can't be together anymore. But that was a really good answer. I worked on it for my next relationship, and I became a really great person. I did it. So that is it from us tonight. Make sure that you... Thank you. So everybody, please make sure that you subscribe and share. You can find Dr. P on TikTok. You can find JoJo on Instagram. And you can find at which one? Instagram. And then I am going to have my brother and co-host close us out.
Listen, we talked about a lot tonight, y'all. I just want y'all. I always say this. I'm gonna say this every week. Keep it real. Be upfront. Be transparent in what you want. And you should have no problems. Like she said, look us up everywhere. You can find the famous on literally everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all that shit. Be transparent. Be truthful.
Just